So much has been happening. Still on justice for Mohbad. So here we have the DNA on one side, and also it is of course tied to what a lot of people call justice. Yes. Now we are talking of something connected to homicide slash whatever anyone might want to call it, but you all know what I mean. The DNA is to find out if there is a motive connected to the paternity of Liam. A lot of stories here and there. People said this, they are no longer saying it at the inquest. What they confirmed here, they are no longer agreeing to it at the inquest. Stories not making sense, skipped here and there. So people felt, it seems this inquest is not going to give us results because there might not be evidence to get this to the proper court. Why? Those that are supposed to carry out are not willing because it has to do with one of their own, the daughter of one of their own. The police operate like a cult. They protect each other regardless. Moreover, more so, if you have money to spend, they are willing. They have heard that there is a huge amount of money to be made. Now, let us keep that aside because what you're about to hear will shock you, to blow your mind. We have Yeye Kudi and we have Buki Jesse. You all know about the opposition, or let us say the fracas between both of them. But that is not going to derail us from justice for Mohbad. And I'm kind of okay because within the fracas, justice for Mohbad is also being talked about, is also being dealt with, is also being analyzed. It's okay. Now, there are certain things that people are not comfortable with, certain information. And you have to be careful at times. You have to be careful at times. You have to know when to drop it. You have to know when to hold on to it. You have to know how to go about it all. It's a serious issue, a very serious one. Wunmi said she needs certain arrangement on the DNA, while Mohbad's father, of course, wants certain arrangement. Team Wunmi have turned it upside down to manipulate, but regardless, it makes no difference. What will be, will be. And what will be is that DNA is going to be conducted and we'll be seeing the truth of it all. We will get to know what and what is happening. Because right now, from what we have heard, Wunmi is trying to escape. Wunmi is pregnant. Whatever it is that's inside of her stomach, maybe karma has visited her. We don't care. What we care about is to make sure that no one comes with a child that does not belong to someone to claim after they are done taking out the life of that person. Let us listen to this and we'll be talking more. Don't forget to like and share. Don't forget to tap on the subscribe button.
That you understand, she wanted to give intravenous. She only gave 2 injections. The first she gave right in front of Wunmi was anti-tetanus. In fact, Wunmi said that's how he behaves when he takes.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n pe mọ́mí aláṣàdúrà. Má pe mọ́mí aláṣàdúrà sí. Ẹni tó sick, kò sí wound lára ẹ̀. Why give anti-tetanus? Ẹ̀yin náà sì tẹ́ ń wò mí ṣé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn ni. Ẹni tẹ́ sọ pé ọkọ̀ weak. There was no sign of wound on him. And you quickly gave anti-tetanus. Ẹ jẹ́ ká pe mọ́mí aláṣàdúrà. Mo ń bọ̀. Mi mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń ṣe ní Nàìjíríà, but ẹ jẹ́ kí n pe mọ́mí aláṣàdúrà. Mọ́mí aláṣàdúrà. Adébímpé, mọ́mí Adébímpé. Ó ń pọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kó gbé phone. Yeah. Ẹni tí ẹ rí sign ni pé ó ní egbò lára. Kí ló fún ní anti-tetanus fún? Ẹ jẹ́ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí mọ́mí gbé phone.
Hello, my darling sister.
Hello, mommy. Eka Soma, God bless you, ma. Emma Binu, sorry to disturb you, ma. Mommy, quick question. Mom play kokon bi bani. Ikoko wa shebo, awo de sitting don't sing line. La she pe ma. Mommy, wọ́n nígbà tí nọ́ọ̀sì dọ́dọ̀ Mohbad. Wọ́n ní Mohbad weak gan.
Okay.
Wọ́n ló fún ní paracetamol olómi.
Okay.
Ó tún wá fún ní anti-tetanus injection. Mọ́mí ẹjọ́, kí ni reason tó fi máa fún yàn ní anti-tetanus? Ẹni tó weak. Ẹ bá wa ṣàlàyé màmí fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sí ilé mi.
Okay. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ fún ní anti-tetanus injection, that means pé ó ní egbò.
Mọ́mí ẹ bá mi gbóhùn sókè. Mọ́mí ẹ gbẹ́nu sí mic.
Okay, mo ń bọ̀ jẹ́ kí n gbé bébì mi fún yàn kí n lè gbẹ́nu sí mic dáadáa.
Ẹ ṣé mọ́mí mi. Àgbáyé àdálẹ̀.
So, jẹ́ gbọ́ mi báyìí.
À ń gbọ́ yín mọ́mí mi, màmí.
Ẹni tí wọ́n bá fẹ́ fún ní anti-tetanus injection, ó láti ní egbò, ó láti ní wound kan, bóyá ó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ní ọjọ́ yẹn ni o, tàbí ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí níbi irú àná tàbí ìjẹta, tó jẹ́ pé wọn ò fẹ́ kí tetanus wọbẹ̀. Tetanus yẹn jẹ́ is a virus tó máa ń tètè pààyàn, like ó wà deadly gan. Torí ibùdó aláboyún bá bímọ, wọ́n á fún ní Nàìjíríà, but wọ́n ń lò ní UK mọ́, wọ́n ti bá a lẹ̀, wọ́n kì í fún wa ní tetanus injection mọ́ ní UK, but ní Nàìjíríà kó tó bímọ wọ́n á fún ní tetanus injection torí pé ìmọ́lẹ̀ ní wound around the perineal area ni wọ́n á tún fún yàn tí yàn bá bímọ tún. So ẹni tó bá légbò wọ́n máa ń fún ní anti-tetanus injection. That means pé bóyá Mohbad légbò kan ní ara ló ṣe fẹ́ fún ní
anti-tetanus injection. Ẹ ṣé màmí.
But wọ́n láti prescribe ẹ̀ ní nọ́ọ̀sì kì í
fún yàn.
Kó fún yàn, dókítà ló máa sọ pé kí nọ́ọ̀sì kó fún yàn. Nọ́ọ̀sì kankan ò láṣẹ ní abẹ́ òfin all over the world láti fún yàn ní any injection unless it's prescribed by the doctor. Even the COVID injection tí gbogbo wa ń gbà, the doctor ló máa prescribe ẹ̀. Wọ́n máa sọ fún yín pé ẹ wá gba COVID injection yín ni o. Doctor ti rí pé ẹ ti díù ló máa ní pé kẹ́ wá gbà. Nurse kankan ò lè jí kó sọ pé kẹ́ wá gbà.
Ẹ ṣé mọ́mí. Ẹ ṣé ma. Thank you so much ma. God bless you ma. We appreciate you ma. Gbogbo yín gbọ́. Ṣé gbogbo yín gbọ́? Why did the nurse give anti-tetanus injection? Tí Mohbad ò bá ní egbò. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ lọ. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń wò mí, ojú yín ò ní fọ́, orí yín ò ní dàrú, etí yín ò ní di. Àbí kan tí mo sọ yín, ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ lọ. Mo ń bọ̀. Yeah, okay. Mo ń bọ̀.
How he reacts, because the moment she gave that intravenous injection of anti-tetanus, he threw up. Paracetamol syrup, oral, yeah. She said with water that he couldn't even take it. That he even spoke. I said, but weak. He said it weakly. She you know that he spoke in Yoruba to her. He spoke when she got there, but he was weak on the bed. So she said she gave the injection. When she gave the intravenous injection of anti-tetanus, next thing, he threw up. When he threw up, he had goose pimples, that you could see the goose pimples. And he was so weak. And that was the first thing.
Only tetanus injection should be given to somebody with a metal wound. With a metal wound. Like scissors, abi obe. Only to ba ni wound scissors, abi obe. No man funny anti-tetanus. Now, ẹ wá sọ fún mi. Eba mi pe Feyisayo àti Ashana. They should make it make sense. Why giving Mohbad anti-tetanus? Tí ó bá ní wound ọ̀bẹ àbí scissors kí ná fi gún Mohbad. Ta ló gún Mohbad? Ṣó wọlé gún ni? Ṣàṣànà ló gún ni? Àní ọmọ débẹ̀.
She gave. So when she gave that, Wunmi then said, that's how he behaves. She now went, brought water, cold water, and poured it on him. Applying the cold water, she now thought to Ovi that she was not saying, no, me eti. She said she was telling Wunmi, oh, me eti. No, don't pour water, stop pouring cold water on him. She was then saying, Wunmi said, no, bo she man she niye. So she then decided that
bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Bàbá Mohbad dá ẹ jẹ́ ká pè wọ́n ṣé àbíkú ọmọ lọ́bí ni. Because Àṣànà sọ pé bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Ìgbésẹ̀ wo l'Àṣànà ti gbé? Ó fẹ́ ọkọ dákúdájí according to you, Àṣànà. Wọ́n da omi sí lórí, ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Ó rò ọjọ́ kan pé ọmọ yìí lè sùn kó má jí mọ́. Ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. So ó ti ń gbèrò okú ẹ̀ ti pẹ́. Ó ti ń gbàdúrà ọjọ́ kan tó máa sùn tí ò ní jí mọ́. Ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Ìgbà tó mọ̀ pé bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn, kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Make it make sense. Ẹ̀yin aládùúgbò ẹ̀ka mo bá sọ̀rọ̀. Ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Mo sọ fún yín pé there was no nurse. Feyisayo àgbésùn ni, Àṣànà ni, iṣẹ́ ló ń gbé Lẹ́kí. Wọ́n kàn jẹ́ kó wọlé wá ni. Ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Kí ló dé tó ṣe wá pe nurse? Ìgbà tó mọ̀ pé bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn tí ò dẹ̀ ní wound. Ẹ máa gbọ́ mi o. Ó sọ pé kò ní wound, wọn ò gún lọ́bẹ. Wọn ò gún ní scissors. Ó ní bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Ìgbà tó mọ̀ pé bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. Ìgbà bó ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn, Àṣànà. Báwo ló ṣe máa ń deal pẹ̀lú ẹ̀? Ó mọ̀ pé nọ́ọ̀sì ń jọ yẹn. Ìtorí pé ó ti gun pa. Owó ẹ̀ tó bá ti sí lórí. Ẹ̀wọ̀n àkọ́tẹ́ máa fi cover up. Ẹ̀wọ̀n gun pa tọ́. Tó bá yẹ pé kú dáadáa ni Mohbad kú. Kí ló dé tẹ̀ ṣe fídíò? Mohbad is dead. Mohbad is dead. Ẹ gbé sínú mọ́tò. The fact pé ó parọ́ pé mọ́tò neighbor lẹ fi gbé lọ. Neighbor confirm pé mọ́tò Mohbad lẹ fi gbé Mohbad kúrò nínú ilé yẹn. Irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù. Irọ́ ti pọ̀ jù. Láì fọ̀tá pé ó jẹ́ kó rọ gbogbo yín sẹ́wọ̀n ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ lọ. Ó ní bí Mohbad ṣe máa ń ṣe nìyẹn. So kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Ìwọ ṣe treat ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń treat ẹ̀. Kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Okay, ẹni tó ti mọ bó ṣe máa ń ṣe, kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Ẹ̀yin alóbìbọ́nkà mo ń bá wí o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ lọ.
Could it be that what was the hand swollen and everything, could it be that it's an infection too? Because Wunmi was one that suggested the anti-tetanus. So she still...
Ṣẹ́gbọ́. Ṣé ti get it? Blogger Yamaneg stated, only Àṣànà ló suggest the anti-tetanus. Kí ló dé tí Àṣànà suggest anti-tetanus? Ó ti gun pa. Ó ti gun. Ó ti rí pé ó kù díẹ̀ kó kú. Kí ló pe nọ́ọ̀sì fún? Tó wá suggest anti-tetanus. Fún ẹ tí kò légbò. Ibo légbò wà? Àṣànà wá sọ fún wa. Ibo légbò wà lára Mohbad tó cover up. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó wà lórí bed, ara egbò tó jáde yẹn, tẹ́ fi fún anti-tetanus lẹ fi gún. Ẹ gbọ́ mi ni, there is definitely a wound. Now, ọ̀bẹ tó gún nínú ilé, òun ló fi ń parọ́ pé pàtí ló ti gbá mọ́tò tọwọ́ ẹ̀ fi ṣẹ̀jẹ̀. Ẹ ti rí bó ṣe fẹ́ connect dot yẹn. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé tá bá ní kílé tó ṣe pé nurse. Wọ́n sọ pé torí egbò, àbí nurse lè sọ pé òun rí egbò. Egbò yẹn ló fẹ́ connect mọ́ ìjà tí ò ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Kòròdú tó sọ pé jà wà. Am I communicating? Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ rántí lóòótọ́, ọlọ́pàá sọ pé Mohbad was bleeding profusely. Ṣáwọn ọlọ́pàá ṣe investigation tó rí pé Mohbad ń bleed lóòótọ́. Àwọn yẹn ló wá fẹ́ gbé DNA wá fáwà. Àwọn yẹn ló fẹ́ pẹ̀rẹ̀ prosecution. Ẹ ní kúre, ẹ lọ prosecute àbí àkọ́bí yín ká prosecute àbí gbẹ̀yìn yín. Ẹ get the connection yẹn. Ẹ get the connection yẹn. Ẹ get the connection yẹn. Ẹ get the connection.
The antibiotic, Ọlọ́run rínú, where maybe some people will write it, but me, I didn't write. Antibiotics. Those were the two things. And Wunmi, it was right in front of Wunmi. Remember, Wunmi told us she wasn't there anymore. She was cooking. She said she never administered anything on him behind Wunmi. Everything she administered was right in front of Wunmi.
So, tí Àṣànà ò bá ní skeleton inú cupboard ẹ̀. Why Àṣànà ṣe sọ pé ìgbà tán fún ní abẹ́rẹ́ òun lọ ṣe fried rice. Sherry, it's because we live in a wicked country called Nigeria. if it is in a civilized country, by now, Ashana will not have the effrontery to tell the court that she cannot come to court. Ipa wo eyan arasi ohun. This is a person tó yẹ pé gbogbo Dodon Barracks ló gbé wá sí court. This is a person tó form celebrity níjọ́ tó wá court tó jó. Ó wá ní effrontery láti sọ fún judge pé òun ò lè wá court because wọ́n harass òun. Òun náà ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ sí wa yìí sí now. Tí ẹ mú àwọn witness tẹ́tí wọ́n mọ́lé, tẹ́ wá mú suspect ẹni tó wà pẹ̀lú Mohbad 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours up till today. She's working majestically. Anytime people talk, a sọ pé kó gba station lọ. A sọ pé kó gba station lọ. Ìgbà tó ti bribe wọn bẹ̀. Ṣé bóun ló mú Sam Larry sọ pé all stations settled. Case closed. No case to answer. Abẹ́gbọ́. Ó sọ fún wa pé òun ṣe fried rice ńjọ́ yẹn. Òun ni dọ́ọ̀sì confirm yìí. Ó ló wà níbẹ̀. Kò kúrò ńbẹ̀. No, tó bá jẹ́ pé ikú Ọlọ́run ni Mohbad kú lóòótọ́. Kí ló fa gbogbo irọ́ yìí? Kí ló fa gbogbo cover up yìí? Kí ló fa pé à ń fi rọ́kọ, à fi ń cover kan? Make it make sense. Ó lulẹ̀ nation. Ẹ jẹ́ ká máa gbọ́ lọ.
Nothing. Then she noticed that he was weaker. He was weaker. So she thought to herself to go and buy, I don't know, it's here, RRT, she mentioned the one morally, weak. Even when she got there, he was weak. So that was why it was suggested to her that because Funati tetanus, comment de put infection. So anti-tetanus was administered, antibiotic was administered. That was all she administered. But Wunmi, when he was still fainting, kept going. Then she told her no, and he was quoted, Ola Sholara, let me go and get me a mom so that they can give to Mohbad. So she went. As she was on her way coming back, she even got back, not that anybody called her. On getting back, she saw that they had naked Mohbad. He was only in pants. And they were pouring water on him. And she was like, why are you people pouring water on him? Cold water. Wunmi and maybe DJ Rabin Koko, they were pouring water on him. By the time she touched Mohbad, he was no more alive.
Kí ló dé tó ń da omi sí Mohbad lára?
And Mohbad, ó fi ṣàkóbá fóun ni. It's a setup for her. That's what.
I said, Feyisayo said in the prison, what Ashana fi Mohbad ṣe àkóbá fóun ni. Òun náà ni Nurse Yamanegi confirm sin.
She understand by what happened to her. And I said, number one, the injection he gave intravenously, those 2 injections, do you know that it can kill? He said never. I don't know, doctors, you people should know now. Is it not possible that it can kill? Injection that they give intravenously, what do they call it? Those 2. She said it can never kill. Is it true?
Now, why was Mohbad weak? Could it be true the fight they were fighting that made Mohbad very, very weak? Why give Mohbad anti-tetanus if he was not stabbed? Why? Kí ló ṣe fún ìgbà tí nọ́ọ̀sì yẹn butter? Kí ló ṣe fún Mohbad tó yẹ pé ìgbà tí nọ́ọ̀sì bá fi padà wá wọ́n ti dá omi sí Mohbad lórí Mohbad ti kú. What transpired between these people and Mohbad? What did they do to Mohbad? Àfi tí gbogbo video ìbá ti lọ. But it's suffering justice for Mohbad. It's going to be very, very long. Torí ẹ̀ mo ṣe ń wo àwọn olórí burúkú tó sọ pé ṣadẹ̀ ti gba justice. Ẹ̀mí èèyàn là ń sọ yìí. And this is happening in Nigeria. Even in Loyinbo, America, it took them years. Kontori en to pa Tupac. So tí bá wà àwọn olórí burúkú, àwọn aláyé bàjẹ́ bí Arifa, tó ní Ṣadé ti gba justice, mo máa wò wọ́n ni pé ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé kó gbé fake secretary ọba wa kó sọ pé kó wá parọ́ pé ọba fẹ́ bribe òun nìkan ló mọ̀. Ṣé kí n máa ṣàdúró owó tárífà gbà lórí íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì? Àǹtí kan wà l'Amẹ́ríkà, ó gbà kò gbà rárá, á gba 10 million naira lọ́wọ́ àǹtí yẹn. Òun á pè, ìyàwó ẹ̀ á pè, àwọn ọmọ á pè. Mi ti ráyè tí ẹ o. Arifa, ìwọ sọ pé Ṣadé ti rí justice. Òun ló mú ẹ tó wọnú justice for Mohbad tó gbé rọ́wọ́ bẹ̀. Anywhere bẹ̀lẹ̀ face. Ó fẹ́ gbá èmi náà gbà tó wà ní prison. Kémi wá bọ́ta wá bóun gbowó. 15 million ló sọ pé kóun san nínú kóòtù. Èèyàn kan ló wá já mi sí pé wọn kì í gbowó. Ó ní wọn kì í gbowó, báwo ló ṣe jẹ́ 15 million. Èmi tí wá sọ pé okay, máa lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ sọ lórí platform mi o. Ẹ bá sọ síta o, ẹ kàn bá mi pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ yín olówó. Ẹ bá mi pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ yín olówó kẹ́ni kó dá 15 million yẹn fún mi. Mo ní kí ni mo fẹ́ sọ fún wọn? Ṣé mi máa sọ pé mo fẹ́ lówó ni? Nǹkan tó mú mi tí mo bọ́ta wá polówó ènìyàn o. Ẹ pé mo dá sí pé kẹ́ dáwó fún. Ó ní kémi má dárúkọ òun. Ó ní ẹ má dárúkọ mi, ẹ má dárúkọ mi. Ẹ kàn bá mi pé àwọn ọ̀rẹ́ yín olówó ìgbà tó ti rí pé mo ní ó ra mọ́tò fún bàbá. Àwọn olórí burúkú tí n bá sọ fún yín pé gbogbo wọn olè ni wọ́n, ẹ máa ní BJ fi wọ́n lẹ̀. Olè, OLE, àgàgà Arifa yẹn. Ó kókó máa gbébọn, ó dẹ̀ ń gbébọn lóru. Ẹni kó bọ́ síta, àǹtí kan wà l'Amẹ́ríkà. Ó kéré jù 10 million àǹtí yẹn. Èmi gangan bá àǹtí yẹn sọ̀rọ̀ gbà tó yá. Mo ní àǹtí, ẹ má fún àtìyàwó ẹ̀ lówó mọ́. Mo ní ẹ tó nídìí owó tó dẹ̀ fẹ́ ṣèyàwó. Ìyàwó yóò fẹ́ fi gbá gbogbo yín náà ni.
Out of the car on Ebute Bridge. If not, you need to hold spending. And also, they said, and also, the one that Prime Boy had on you people's way from the party to the party is too much. But then she said she gave it intravenously in the presence of Wunmi. That the moment she, can you let me say what? No, I'm just explaining.
Kò jẹ́ kí yeye Yamalegi gan sọ̀rọ̀.
So she's not a nurse. She's not a nurse. She's not a nurse. She's an auxiliary nurse.
She should take responsibility for that action alone. Every other thing, I don't know.
Sherry, ẹgbẹ́ mi kúrò speaker. Ó ti sọ̀rọ̀ 20 minutes.
That is also by going to a client's house to give that injection. IV.
No, she's not. Let's not deviate from the issue. The issue now is the real story. Deviate from the story. For giving the minister any drug. We've been hearing, not said I never gave any drug. But the truth is, the drug that they mentioned, police mentioned that was administered by her, were like 3 or 4. She said she just the ones she mentioned, these ones I've mentioned, are the ones she said she gave. She mentioned their names, so I can't remember. I'm not in medical field. Maybe others wrote it. Me, I can't remember. As a matter of fact, see, when I was speaking to them, you can see I just jotted SUV.
Shetiri, me if I fi video if I show you, only look claim copyright. Come video wale. Ó tiẹ̀ tún mú jota tó jot àwọn nǹkan tó sọ sí, ó ti fi wọ́n sìn. Shetiri, and Spending want to tell me this is all makeup. Spending, make it make sense. So if the nurse can say that she was set up, that means what Mohbad ni.
Prime Boy is the one that fought Mohbad. Spending said nothing like that. You know, I asked a question at
Secretary said, and I quote, only Mohbad died in the house. Meanwhile, Àṣànà ti sọ fún wa pé ìgbà tó ń gbé lọ hospital ló kú. Ṣé rántí? But ṣẹpẹtẹrì sọjọ yẹn pé inú ilé ló kó sí tí kámẹ́rà bá wà ṣé kámẹ́rà tọ̀nù sínú ilé ni kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ nínú ilé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí bẹ́ẹ̀dì tẹ́jẹ̀ wà tó wá sọ pé ṣé kámẹ́rà máa rí inú ilé ni ìta ni kámẹ́rà máa wò kámẹ́rà ò lè tọ̀nù sínú ilé kí ló mì pẹ̀lú gbogbo nǹkan tó sọ yẹn kò sí nǹkan tí ṣẹpẹtẹrì ò lè ṣe fowó ẹ gbàgbé ẹ kò sí nǹkan tí ṣẹpẹtẹrì ò lè ṣe fowó tẹníbàjẹ́ ò kàn wọ́n kò kúkú ń ṣọmọ wọn lẹ́ni tó kú ti kú àwọn ìyá àti bàbá ẹni tí wọ́n gbé tẹníbàjẹ́ ò kàn ṣẹpẹtẹrì because ṣẹpẹtẹrì said and I quote ó nínú ilé ni Mohbad kú sí tí kámẹ́rà bá wà ṣé kámẹ́rà ò fèsì inú ilé ni tẹfimọbi tó kú sí.
Welcome back. There is a lot to be talked about on this justice for Mohbad, and we've talked and we've said a lot. I mean, we've done over a year, or let's say we've done a year on justice for Mohbad. Back to back, at the beginning, we didn't get a clear picture of what is going on. But now, I'm sure that 90% are on board. Maybe, let us be fair, let us say we have 80% on board, and then we have 20%, whatever it is that they are doing, I don't know. The 80% are for justice for Mohbad. And if Mohbad's father is for justice, they are in support of him. If Mohbad's father is not for justice, they will not be in support. We have the 20% who are for Wunmi. They are the ones who are spinning different narratives here and there. But this very simple matter became so complex because Mohbad was not loved by those around him. That's the truth of it. Mohbad was not loved by those that are around him. He wasn't loved by those that are around him. That's the truth of it. Because if we say 15 people were around Mohbad, let us say, okay, some were left out when they got home. And if you have your family member, your brother, you have friends around you. When we listen to some of them speak, because this is part of what Bukky Jesse is saying whilst playing the audio of the analysis or audio of Yeye Kudi, a lot of things were said to Yeye Kudi according to her, but she did not release the recording of these people. I don't know, maybe she felt if she does not reveal or release it, these people will trust to give. It's all about continuity. To her, she's like, wait, this justice for Mohbad should not be the end of the journey. What if other people want to confide in me, to update me, to tell me, and they know that I will record them and put out their audio? They might run, they might not want to tell the truth. Let me give these people this sense of comfort or confidence in me. I'm going to talk about what they said, but I'm not going to play their voice. So it will be maybe a kind of my word against whatever it is that they end up saying later. And I'm sure you all heard the stories said at the inquest and the stories said to Yeye Kudi. Now, this is what is getting on the nerves of Bukky Jesse. Bukky Jesse is more of, I am going to put everything out there. I care less. If you want to, although she said times without number that she does not record people, and I don't think she does not record. If she has the opportunity to record, she will record. Maybe she does not release audio recordings. Maybe that's a different thing. But Yeye Kudi recorded spending the nurse. Do you know that till today, no one has ever heard the voice of that nurse? The only person that spoke on behalf of the nurse is the mother of the nurse. Until today, the nurse has not appeared at the inquest. Her claim is that she is afraid for her life, that she might be lynched. She does not want anyone tracking her to the home or house where she lives. We heard that she's all over the place clubbing. So the nurse gave her own account via her own mom and to Yeye Kudi. Till date, no other person has access to the nurse to get any statement from the nurse. What did you see? How did you see it? Now, Yeye Kudi said, oh, if I release something that Spending said, the Korodu will be on fire, this will be on fire. You know, she gave that suspense. I do understand that she can be a bit dramatic. Of course, it's part of the thing she does as a blogger. She can be a bit dramatic, suspense here and there to get people coming. I do understand. Everyone has his or her own style. Maybe Bukky Jese's style is different. But till today, we've not heard. I think basically maybe what they said, maybe 90% have been repeated at the inquest, and she can compare and contrast it together. Some of these guys that are around this scene, this terrible scene, some of them are afraid. We don't know who they are afraid of. We don't know who they are afraid of. Or is it a mystery to them too? Like they just don't understand how it happened. Don't forget that all of them are drunk, they are high on one thing or the other. They got home, there was a fight, argument, struggle. And this is not something that is new. Mohbad and Wunmi, their relationship is toxic, like those kind of ghetto kind of life, gangster life. The types you find in America, you find it in the UK, you find it, that kind of gang life, ghetto life. We are rappers, we sing. And they have this horrible girlfriend, street. She's streetwise, fighting. They quarrel, they trash themselves, they are into terrible things. That's the kind of life that Mohbad lived. So, obviously, the consequences of it is something like this. You don't expect a street girl to now have conscience. Although we were expecting that the law would do the needful regardless of your religion, if you are morally upright or not, you have conscience or not. But here we are. They played it already. They played it already. When did Mohbad pass away? We now started guessing. Okay, maybe it is that day. Maybe it is not today. Or maybe it's a Monday. Maybe it was Sunday. Oh, when did the nurse come? The nurse knows fully that she's going down for this. How is she going to help herself? And don't worry, don't come to the court. Because once the nurse appears at the inquest, this whole story will change, because she will be made to know that you will be going down for this. That's why a lawyer is coming. And a lawyer is working side by side with Wunmi's lawyer. They are working side by side. Because they have to be careful. Whatever she says might cause Wunmi to go to prison. Now, Wunmi has said, maybe the nurse. So they have to now start looking for ways of massaging the nurses and fear. Maybe through the lawyer, they are sending money to each other. Like, okay, take this amount of money, go look for an apartment somewhere, stay put there, relax. Let's see how things will be. This matter is beyond us. We don't even know the industry gods. It's a spiritual thing. Oh, it's prime boy. Because you cannot invite the nurse. You cannot administer tetanus injection. Let's assume the nurse made a mistake with that. You cannot administer some kind of medication, even though she does not have the right to do what she did, authorized to do it. She's an auxiliary. She's not a nurse. She didn't study nursing. She's more of supposed to be those that just help nurses carry injections, equipment here and there. That's what they are supposed to be. But unfortunately, we have a system where this auxiliary nurse of a thing has become cancerous all over Nigeria. Unqualified nurses. They are now kind of learning nursing like it's a vocation. Like you go learn tailoring. That's what these nurses are. They call them auxiliary nurses. In other countries, they call them carers, nursing assistants. So, she administered tetanus. You only administer tetanus when there is a wound. And in Nigeria, tetanus is administered when a woman is about to give birth. In fact, let's just say wound. As you heard the guest that she called in, she's a nurse. The lady called Alasha that she called in. She's a nurse. She said, in Nigeria, you'll be giving this tetanus injection prior to giving birth and after, so that you don't catch that tetanus. But it has been stopped abroad in the UK. They are no longer doing that. Probably they have something else that they administer. So when you get pricked by a nail or any metal object, you get caught, the first thing that they administer to you is tetanus. That's the first thing they administer to you. If you've ever gotten in, yes, you can be feverish. Let's be serious about this thing. A little wound underneath your, if you've experienced it before, maybe you went to a construction site or somewhere and nailed, back in those days, children running all over. If you as a child have ever experienced this, you had that nail pierce under your foot through your shoes or through your slippers, those type of slippers that cannot really protect under your foot, and you got pierced there, blood here and there. Now let's say you did nothing about it, you quickly kind of cleaned it up so your parents will not know, and you have the wound under your foot. You're trying to pretend, stay indoors. Why? Because you don't want to go to hospital, or maybe because you don't want your parents to discover that you are going to play in that place that they asked you not to. You hid that injury. Some could even be the bones, something, there's a sprain or something, they hide it. So like that kind of injury that you have you thought about it? Did it make you feverish after some couple of hours that you didn't do nothing about it? Your legs underneath are swollen and you are there. You can't tell nobody. But when it gets to a point, you just have to cry out like, hey. So it could be somehow something related to that. It could make you feverish. Just a little wound. A little wound could make you feverish. And the fear of tetanus. So that's where probably she administered anti-tetanus. And we are hearing, according to the nurse, that it was Wunmi. That's what the nurse said to, although she has not released any audio ever since then, since last year. She didn't release it. Yeye Kuti didn't release it if she truly has it as she said. So it was administered. According to the nurse, Wunmi told me that I should administer this too. And she also followed suit and administered it. Now, the nurse is saying it was a setup. Was she brought in just to set it up? Have they already administered something? What did they do? Did Wunmi already administer something before calling the nurse? She came, she said Mohbad was weak, said this, blah, blah, blah. She did what she did. Then she went away before she could return, or maybe she was downstairs or whatever. They had already poured water on Mohbad, story. We've heard it back and forth. But what brought about the nurse? What brought about the invitation of the nurse? They say it's Prime Boy. They had a fight. Prime Boy said I didn't fight. Wunmi said no, it was not a fight. Spenny said it was not a fight. It was Mohbad that got angry. So it could be that whilst Mohbad was like angry, running around, he scratched his hand somewhere. That is what Darusha, if we are to believe what he said, that Mohbad said, this guy has injured me. When someone says someone has injured me, does not necessarily mean it's a direct. He's simply putting the blame on that person because he had taken actions. Like you are trying to fight your friend. You're trying to get rid of him or bully him or expect him to fight you. And you are pushing him. And he said, guy, stop now. He's trying to not to move away from, and the next thing you are trying to pull and then your hands crash something. At the end of the day, you all know what the person will say. The person will say, I got injured whilst I was trying to fight him. He will say, this guy has injured me. This is what people say to make it appear like this person is the one that did it. But this person didn't do it. You did it. You own your body and the control of it. So if maybe you were trying to chase your friend and he was running away and your mind told you continue chasing and you didn't stop and you fell and sprained your leg, what will you say? This guy has injured me. He didn't injure you directly. Let's say indirectly, but you injured yourself because you are in control of your mind. If you choose not to run, you will not fall. That's it. So who is going to take the blame for that injury that Mohbad had? Because the physical exam of Mohbad's body, they say it's only one place he had injury Who is saying the truth? Who is lying? That's where people are kind of uncomfortable about the truth of this DNA. Is it going to be real or not?